Alright, hey YouTube. Welcome to my first ever YouTube gun review. Got a little cheat sheet here so I can kind of follow along the points a little bit NutnFancy style. So shout out to him for a lot of good work and reviews. Really enjoy your work, man. Alright, so what we got here, we have a Para Expert Carry. I feel like this is a very underrated gun that a lot of people just don't know about, haven't tried, or the looks of it just kind of throw them off a little bit, so they just don't give it a chance. Now, this gun, as it sits right now, yeah, it's fully loaded. Alright, let's take care of that real quick. So, I typically keep Federal Hydra-Shocks, 230 grain, and the hollow points loaded up in there. This is my standard carry gun, or my EDC firearm, for those of you that kind of follow along in that trend. Anyways, this is a 3-inch 1911 with a full-size frame, so you are able to use full-size magazines with this thing. So it's a standard 1911 magazine. This is a Chip McCormick magazine. It holds 8 rounds. I picked this up at a local gun shop. Just wanted something, with a flat base plate so that I could keep it loaded up in the firearm without that little excess on the end, just to make it a little more concealable. Because realistically, a 1911 is not the most concealable firearm to start off with, but having that 3-inch barrel helps a lot. Like I said, I carry this thing everywhere. If I'm not going on a property to where I can't legally carry, then I've got this thing on me. Or, the only limitation I really find with my occupation is sometimes I end up in like real nice dress slacks, dress clothes, and this is a little bit bulky to conceal. So for that, I've got my Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380, which just melts away. And those of you that debate about the whole, hey, is 380 a good caliber to carry and defend yourself? Well, guys, look at what this is made for. Alright, now let's get to talking about the purpose of this firearm. A 3-inch 1911, well, this thing, it even says it in the title, if you can see here, Expert Carry. This is a carry model. It is meant to be a personal defense firearm. It's made so that it's light enough, it's compact enough so that you can carry this comfortably. Now, this is an aluminum frame, I believe. It's got a skeletonized hammer, trigger, got beaver tail safety. It's got nice sights on it. I especially love this green fiber optic here. Daylight shows up like anything. Once again, carry weapon. You're not going to be using this for like long range shooting in the dark, so that fiber optic sight works just fine. Alright, you have an extended thumb safety here. Very easy, very positive safety. Really, it's no trouble whatsoever. If I have to shoot this left-handed, flip my finger up, pull it down, and I'm ready to go. Don't even have to adjust my grip. So, though it's not an ambidextrous safety, it still functions just fine in both hands. So, that's not something that I would knock on this firearm. And because of that, I am a right-handed person. I carry it right-handed, so not having that ambidextrous safety on the right-hand side of the weapon, it's not snagging on my shirt, whatever clothing, jacket. Nothing's there. It's pretty much flat, smooth, and sleek on this side, minus the serrations in the slide to grab and a little bit of checkering in the grip. Now, talk about ergonomics, the grip and everything. There's a good bit of nice checkering in the grips here that come from Para. Might not be the best looking thing in the world, but you know what? Originally I was going to change these out, put some rosewood grips on there, just because I like the rosewood look. But these have really grown on me. Just the look of the firearm, I think it's just fine. So I'm probably going to end up leaving them, unless, you know, maybe one day down the road, just for the sheer fun of it, or, you know, whatever. I might put some Crimson Trace grips on there, the burlwood grips. Those are real nice, look great. I've seen them on some Kimbers, and I just love the look of them. And also, adding that extra laser, well, there's the whole research and study that criminals see a laser and all of a sudden they're running. You don't even have to fire a shot. Now, yeah, I'm definitely an advocate for carrying a gun, but if you don't have to fire a shot, then it's all that much better. Alright, so prime purpose is a carry gun. Alright, now speaking of that, in a concealed situation, it's concealed carry, open carry, whatever, self-defense, you're looking max around 7-15 yards is what all the concealed carry classes that I've taken have preached to me. Well, this gun, I was out with some family and we were just shooting around, enjoying ourselves out on some private property. Took some of those aluminum Bud Light bottles, the nice thick ones that'll bounce around once you shoot them. Well, this thing's picking those things off at 50 yards like it's nothing. So, extremely accurate. Another example, and I will put some range footage up somewhere in this video after I do a little bit of editing, but first time at the range, a little range out here in my town, indoor range, put the target down at 25 yards, just a standard silhouette target. This thing put all 9 rounds in the head, a size of my fist, as in that big, all 9 rounds, 25 yards in the head, not a single one out of that. That's impressive. Now, I fully attribute that to this match grade barrel that they put in this thing. So the accuracy is just unreal. It's a nice thick barrel on this thing. The floating tilt barrel, love it. Absolutely love it. Alright guys, one thing I want you to note is the accuracy that I was talking about at the ranges. Alright, now up at the range, I was taking my time shooting. The video clip you're about to see, it's just right outside of my house. I figured I wanted to go ahead and get this video out because I have no idea when I can get back down to the range to give you a better example. So anyways, we're losing light really quickly in the video. And realistically, when I came back inside, had about 5 more minutes until it really got dark out. So the shooting in the video is going to be rushed and rough, alright? But it's still a fairly decent representation of, hey, if you're rushing your shots, if you're not really taking your time, it's still fairly decent. It's going to do the job, alright? Not perfect. Yes, I can shoot a lot better than what I did in this video, but also too, I didn't want to edit the video because, well, then, hey, that's like sitting there trying to shoot a bunch of groups and then saying, hey, this one is the only representation there is. No, well, sometimes you don't shoot on target as well as you think you can, or you know you can. Also too, a quick note, some of that steel cased ammo, I actually had, that's the first time I've shot that Monarch ammo. I can get it from Academy Sports, and I use that pretty much just for, punching holes in paper. At least that's the purpose I got it for. Well, this is the first box that I've actually put through because I had never seen that ammo at Academy Sports before. But the advantage to it and using it for target practice is, hey, it's $14 and change for a box of 50 rounds. All right, beat that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, people argue it's still case. Well, I just had the first failure feed that I've had with any kind of ammo in this pistol. So, hey, I'm not gonna fault the gun on that. Steel case ammo usually run brass or, you know, the steel cased Hydra-Shocks or whatever the heck those cases are made of, and nice and shiny silver, essentially. But anyways, just keep that stuff in mind. Yeah, shooting's not perfect. You know, don't go criticizing in the comments. If you got constructive stuff, your own opinions in the comments below, you know, go ahead. Feel free, but no jackassery, as it were, please. Let's just all be respectful and, you know, enjoy what you're seeing. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. Just move on. All right. But anyways, here's a representation of the shooting of this thing. All right. Hope you enjoy. All right, guys, we're losing daylight kind of quickly, so this is about the most reasonable range that I can get out at the house right now to get a little video footage on the accuracy of this thing. We're still talking about the Para Expert Carry 1911. Holds 8 in the mag, 1 in the chamber, with a loaded magazine. Right now, just for the sake of throwing some lead, we're using Monarch 45 Auto 230 grain full metal jacket. This is the still polymer coated rounds, so this gun has no problem cycling any of this stuff. The other magazine has a little bit of brass case stuff in there. It's, like I said, this thing cycles anything. So this is about 15 yards right here. Now I got that box down at the end. It's got a few 22 holes in it. Obviously, we're going to see what the difference is between 22 and 45 holes. But I'll go ahead and walk you down so that you can see. And this will not be edited. Alright, no 45 holes in this box. This is our target. Let's see if I can get that camera set back up right. Alright, let's lock and load. Like I said, this is the steel case ammo. We're shooting about 15 yards. Just going to see what kind of accuracy we can get out of this. Nope, we had a failure to feed. Alright, let's check it out. Alright, it's pretty good. I have one flyer here, and that's just because when I started jerking them a little bit. Alright, we had one failure to feed. And I think that's honestly because I hadn't cleaned this one in just a little bit. Y'all already saw in the takedown in the video, my hands are getting a little black there. So, let's try this one more time. Oop, lost my shoe here. Once again, guys, bear with me because I'm not going to edit the range footage. I don't want anybody saying, hey, you know, you edited the accuracy on that. You know, you shot it before you posted it. Alright, this is the brass case stuff. Alright, this is all Full Metal Jacket, 230 grain. Alright, this is the Para magazine. Alright, so here we go. Alright, make sure this is back in frame. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go for the target underneath where I just shot. Alright, let's check it out. Whew. Tripping over a steak there. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, yeah, I wasn't taking my time at all in that. That was just bam, bam, bam. Alright, so not taking my time. Yeah, 15 yards. That's going to do the job. I mean, if there's any question about that, 15 yards. You're not going to be shooting that in a self-defense situation any further than that, or else you're looking at going to prison. So take it for what it's worth. That's just a really quick deal. Not really focusing too much on fundamentals. Just getting out here, putting some holes in the cardboard. All right. Eventually, I'll put up a little better example of the accuracy of this thing. But I think you can see right there, it's pretty spot on. That's just shooter error right there because I'm rushing since we're losing daylight. So, yeah, notice the sun's already going down. You see through the trees. It's already starting to get kind of dark. So, alright, this will get put in with the rest of my video. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. Now, the gun retails around $7.99 according to the Para USA site. Now, you can also find this at Academy, brand new, Academy Sports, for around $6.50, but still after you look at your taxes and fees and stuff, you're still breaking $700 when you're purchasing this thing. Now, it came with 2 magazines. Now, I've got a Golden Goodrich magazine holder. Now this, I carry this with me all the time. The holster that I use is actually DeSantis that was designed for Kimber 1911s. Now this, I use it because, well, once again, 1911 isn't the smallest, most concealable firearm in the world, but this holster allows it to ride up high. It put a loose fitting shirt over it. Never see it. Nobody ever knows I have this thing. It's great. Now, I also carry this cocked and locked. Alright? Because what's the point of having a firearm ready to go if it's not actually ready to go? Alright? My philosophy is drop that safety, pull the trigger. Which the trigger on this thing is great too. We are clear. The trigger on this thing, nice and crisp. Got just a hair take up. Yeah. Has another feature. I'm telling you, this they put a lot of work and effort into this gun. I have zero problems with it. The entire time I've owned it, which has been a couple of years now. Well, actually I'll take that back, about a year and a half. Never had one fault with it. Not one issue. Now, I traded to get this firearm. I had a Taurus Gaucho It's a single action army clone, 45 Colt, and guy had this on. In my state, it's legal to post stuff on Facebook, and you can trade firearms that way as long as the meeting's in person and you're not trading with a felon. So easy way to check that is, hey, we show each other our concealed carry permits and everything's fine and hunky-dory. In my state, there's no paperwork required for a trade of that sort. So anyway, so I traded that firearm along with an old Smith & Wesson shotgun, a little 12 gauge that I had. I got rid of the 12 gauge because I already had another one that I had wanted, and an 870 Super Mag. So I didn't need the other shotgun, just put the two in the package. The guy gave me this thing in return. Hadn't taken another look back. Now, what I was originally getting at, I'm running off on a tangent here. The two magazines that it comes with have a little bit of an extended base plate. 8-round mags. These are the Paramags. I have no problems with these mags. Alright, so it does extend a little bit down. That's fine, especially the reason I keep these in the magazine pouch is because, well, take a Chip McCormick mag that I picked up, flush, it just cuts off a little bit, that might snag your shirt, which, in comparison, I have tested both when carrying, and this actually does ride better because that little bit of lip that this has, especially on this edge, it does tend to snag on your shirt. Not that big of a deal for me because I'm actually an advocate of open carrying and I do it all the time. There's plenty of days, especially hot days, I don't feel like having metal rubbing up against me while I'm sweating. I'm a bigger guy, I sweat a lot. So I really don't want all that all over my slide and having to clean it every single time I carry it, because I carry a lot and I don't want to be cleaning my firearm every day. Yeah, so yeah, both of them work really well. The Chip McCormick, any of y'all who've ever looked into 1911 magazines know these have a great reputation. A lot of people, if you do a little bit of research on forums and stuff, say if you have a 1911 and it has feeding issues or reliability issues, and say the quickest way to fix that is get better magazines. Alright, well, for the money, these are about the best thing you can do right here. Now, I do have plans to eventually get a couple of 10-rounders with the extended base plate on them, and maybe instead of carrying the 8-rounders, I might sub them out for those and just do those as backup, but still keep that flush mount Chip McCormick mag loaded in the firearm at all times. And I also keep one in the chamber, like I said, locked and cocked, ready to go. That's what this holster is designed for. The strap on here is actually designed to go underneath the hammer, and you do have positive retention there because of that, but it's also made to be a thumb brake, so you just slide your thumb down in there, pull it right out. But because of this and that thick leather, that hammer, even if for some reason that hammer was able to come down, there's no way it can contact the firing pin. No way. That leather's way too thick to shift forward. You got that wide strap here. Everything's molded to the firearm itself. The trigger guard fits perfectly in the grooves. The trigger is completely concealed. There's no access on either side unless you have a finger the size of a toothpick and can get up in there. It's not going to happen. Alright, now you can access the safety slightly from here, so if you want to flip that safety off, I don't recommend it before it comes out of the holster. Then if that's the way you train, fine, great, dandy. That's not what I recommend, by the way. I recommend pull the firearm out, pull it up to where you're going to fire, safety off, finger on the trigger, fire it. Alright. Now, that's just a little extra added feature for me, just because, like I said, locked and cocked, that's the way I like to carry it. Just extra little bit of insurance. But really, it's not needed. It's just a personal preference kind of thing. Is you got your beaver tail safety, thumb safety, and you have no access to the trigger, and you have the strap over there. Perfectly safe to carry like this. So, anyways, ergonomics. If you've ever held a full-size 1911, you already know that it's got a very nice feel to it. It's slim for the most part. The angle of it is great. Well, this has the same feel as a full-size 1911. Like I said, it's a full-size frame, so that's what allows you to be able to use full-size magazines, and that's why it looks a little odd right off the bat. It's because that grip is so long. And typically on your 3-inch models, you're going to have a shorter grip. You're going to knock off about that much of it. Now, comparable to this, you have like the Colt Defender, the Kimber Ultra Carry 2s. Excuse me. But when you get into those firearms, you're also tacking on a lot more price. So, personally, I'm not a rich guy. Yeah, it'd be nice, not a necessity. But this, for the accuracy you get out of it, is extremely lightweight because of that aluminum frame. You know, really couldn't ask for a better firearm. So, why don't we look at a little bit of maintenance into the thing, how to strip it down. This is the only complaint that I've ever had with this is the fact that the manual they give is just a standard manual for the entire expert line. Alright, now the problem with that is this firearm is not the standard model. Okay, yes, it falls under the expert series, but notice no barrel bushing to be seen right here. Alright, now your manual is going to tell you, push in this little doohickey here. Yes, I called it a doohickey, get over it. Push it in, turn the barrel bushing, pull it out, all that good stuff. Well, we don't have that here. Now, this is equipped with a full-length guide rod. So, what we're going to do here is I'm going to pull it partway back, pushing in right here on the other side of the slide release. Now that's going to pop. Let's see if we can get this to sit. That's going to pop your slide release out just a little bit. You're going to pull that out. All right, set that to the side. Once that's out, you're just going to slide your barrel forward. Now when you do that, if you saw, hopefully I didn't get that out of frame, I had my finger over where the spring was starting to show, the recoil spring. Now this is a very stiff recoil spring. It actually helps with the reliability. So that does have a tendency to pop out when you pull this apart. So make sure you got your finger over there so it doesn't fly out on you. Go ahead and pull that out. Just set it over here to the side. Alright, now we want to take our barrel. Actually, excuse me, I'm skipping a step here. Alright, notice right here, the barrel bushing is internal. Alright, here's your barrel bushing. Alright, not the standard thing, it's actually more like a guide rod bushing, really. It's not exactly a barrel bushing. But then your barrel, you want to take the ring here that's what your slide release will actually fit through when it's mounted in. You want to tilt that forward and you're going to slide your barrel right out the end. Alright, And that's it. That's it for field stripping. You just oil this thing up really well. Now, I'm very liberal when it comes to oiling these. Because, well, like I said, I'm a big guy. I sweat a lot. I tend to have, if I don't clean my firearms regularly or keep them lubed up fairly well, then I'll notice a little bit of rust popping through on the finish, and I baby my firearms. I do not like rust. I do not like anything going on with them that's not supposed to be there. And, well, I blame that on my drill instructors back in the day. Yeah, making spotless weapons, right? I'm not that psycho about it. But I still enjoy having a good, clean, serviceable firearm. Now, to put this thing back together, all we got to do is the reverse operation. So, barrel, forward into the slide it in until it locks back. Alright, we want to flip that little ring up. Now, notice your slide's upside down when we're doing this. The bushing here, notice those little curved prongs on the bottom side from what you're looking at. You want to take this side, the narrow side, with those curved prongs facing down, stick them on the barrel, slide it up into the hole here. Now, recoil spring, put it up in the bushing, slip it up in there, frame, slide it right up in there. Now, what we're going to do, it's going to be a little bit of a pain to do on camera, but that's okay. Whoops. I'm going to slide her back. Let's see what's going on here. There we go. Pop that in there. Come on. There we go. Takes a little bit of work, not too much. Once you get used to it, I had to strip this thing down on a little bit now. So, but essentially, what you're looking for is this little detent in the slide. The tip of your slide release has got to line up with that first little detent right there. Let's see. Hopefully, you can see that. I'm trying to angle it in the camera so that I can see too, and make sure you can see. The next little detent, that's actually where your slide release is going to catch. So yeah, right there. But the one you want to line up for takedown is right there. And that's also the point where you're going to press on the opposite side to break it down. But that's as simple as that. There's no tools required in order to field strip this thing, clean it up. That's probably one of the things I really love about this thing is I don't like a firearm where I have to go break into the toolbox, or I have to sit there and forever try and figure out, hey, where does this piece go? What's that piece do? You know, this one's just plain and simple. There's about what, 4 or 5 pieces tops that you really got to worry about when you clean this thing. It's simple. You know, apply oil liberally. There's certain points that need to be oiled. If you're that interested, you can actually, if you do get one of these, read the manual. The oiling points in the manual are correct. The only thing that they don't tell you in the manual is how to strip this thing down and put it back together, because they tell you, hey, you know, turn the barrel bushing, blah blah blah. Well, guess what? It doesn't have it. It's internal. So that's that. Now, this does have the last shot hold open, which is very nice. I like this on all of my concealed carry pieces. So you got your empty magazine in there, and then bam, your empty magazine, of course, held the last shot open. And that's not going to release until I pull that. So that is that. Now we already talked about accuracy. Now the value of these things, really, it's all a preference thing. Now if you're like me, I personally like functionality, the whole utilitarian deal. I just want a firearm that works. It's reliable. Now there's a lot of debate about 3-inch 1911, you know, it's not 100% reliable, blah blah blah. I say BS. So I'm going to try out one of these things. Now, follow what the manual tells you to do. If you follow what the manual tells you to do, because yes, there is a 500 round break-in period on this. It's like a lot of 1911s. There is a 500 round break-in period according to the manufacturer. So the engineers that made these things, they say, hey, run 250 rounds through it. Now this is the advice from the Para manual. Run 250 rounds through it without cleaning it. Clean it after the 250 rounds. Repeat it again. Another 250 rounds. Clean it. After that, you can carry it. Now the other thing is, these magazines, the Para magazines, some of the things that you'll hear about these magazines, you'll hear, oh, you know, it ejects the top round, does the whole double feed, blah blah blah. All right, now it also tells you in the manual, rotate the magazines as you're doing the break-in process with the pistol. Fire a whole magazine, fire the next whole magazine, rotate them, fire this one, fire that one, this one, that one, until you hit 250 rounds. Then clean the gun. Don't clean the mags right away. Alright? Don't clean the mags unless you really have to. There's no point. I mean, you have, if there's any grime or powder or residue that's, you know, really clogging it up in there, then yes, you can just push that little pin in, slide the base plate off, spring comes out, follower comes out, and you can do what you need to do. That's fine. They designed it that way, so if you need to, but really there's no point. If you do get some dirt or debris, well, there's all kinds of holes in here. You just tip the thing up, shake it a little bit, you should be good. Okay? Now, these magazines were extremely slick. And when I mean slick, I mean like you just slap that sucker in, all of a sudden that round will just fire out of there just like that. Alright. So I was actually on the verge of throwing these mags away because of that. And that's when I got that Chip McCormick mag. And tried that out, and I was going to see if I was going to get a couple more of those or keep these. Well, these magazines, after I ran the magazines through the break-in process, flawless. Never had an issue with them again. Essentially what it's doing is it's scuffing up that slick finish inside, and so it's giving a little more resistance to the bullets and the casings. So it's retaining them a little bit better. And also too, you know, your spring's breaking in, so it's not giving that much resistance as what it did originally. So break in the mags before you decide to throw them away. Follow the break-in recommendations of Para. They're the guys that designed this thing. I think they're qualified to make the decision on what's required in order to carry this thing. And then they say after that 500 rounds, feel free to carry it. It should run flawless. Now, customer service, I have no experience with them, so I can't really tell you anything about it, whether they're good or they're bad. You know, but that's also an attestament to I haven't needed to. I followed their instructions, works great. Now, I'm going to add to the end of this video, and probably through some of the video, especially where I was talking about the accuracy on what this thing would do, some range footage. All right, I may go ahead and post this video without it and then put the range footage up later. But the reason, like I said, that I did this video in the first place is it's an underrated pistol. But if you read the forums and stuff, there's hardly any bad reviews. The only bad reviews that I've ever found in this is the people who did not follow the break-in instructions on it. They didn't follow the manufacturer recommendations, or they just didn't like the feel because it was so lightweight. It didn't feel like a real 1911 to them. And the short barrel. They just didn't like the short barrel. Because that's actually the reason the guy that I traded with to get this, that's the reason he was getting rid of it. Because he likes the commander size, the 4-inch barrel 1911s, or the 5-inch. He said he had a couple. He actually had one on him the day that I bought or traded for this one. And it's just a preference thing, man. I can't beat that into the ground enough. It's a preference still. But if you're used to firing a full size, you like the feel of it, but you don't want to carry a full size because one, the weight, is pulling down the side of your pants that you're carrying it on. It's big, it's long, and it's hard to conceal. Give this a shot. You should not be disappointed. It's a great firearm. Highly recommend it. Let's see. Revert to my cheat sheet here. Accessories for this thing. Well, pretty much, you got a lot of standard 1911 accessories, but really, it doesn't really need anything, to be honest with you. I don't think. But holster selection is a little more challenging than just like a standard size the government models. There's holsters for every government model out there. Like multiple companies make stuff for it. Now the holster I have here is by DeSantis. I ordered it off the Kimber site because it's made for a 3-inch barrel model. High riding. You can choose your position, which angle you want it to sit. Yeah, that's what I was wanting, was a locked and cocked holster. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I had a little thing going on with the camera. I'm not sure what happened. So anyways, to sum this up, holsters, there's not too big of a selection out there for them. Specifically made for 3-inch models. There's tons for 4-inch, tons for 5-inch. Not too many for 3-inch models because not too many people carry them. But they're still a very good, very popular firearm. Sights, if you want to go with sights for this, like if you want to get the night sights instead of the fiber optic and 2 white dots back here, if you want to go with something different, you need to go through the Para website. They do have Tradujicon night sights, but everything I've read and researched, the cuts for this sight are a little different from your standard aftermarket sizes that are produced. I'm not sure if it's a patent issue or what the deal is, but this is a slightly different cut, and if you get something not made by Para or licensed by them, you're going to have a hard time changing these out. Other than that, you can do any standard government size, full-size 1911 grips. Crimson Trace has got their light guard or their laser guard that literally clamps onto the trigger guard and comes up here. You have a light or a laser sitting up here, or you can do the Crimson Trace grips with the little switch right here. Grab it and the laser's on. That's something I eventually want to get, but then you're looking at almost $400. Personally, I don't plan on spending that kind of money. So there you have it. What would I change about this? The only thing I might change to it is to see if somebody can put a small rail right here. That's the thing, I haven't really checked into to see if they make a rail short enough, but I'm thinking if the Springfield XDS can have a rail, why can't this? So I have yet to locate a gunsmith in my area that I can consult on this topic to see if that's a good idea or if it's even possible without making it look completely ridiculous. So I'm going to see about it. Probably not a realistic option, just kind of a wishful thing, project kind of deal, but that remains to be seen. Other than that, I hope y'all have enjoyed the video. I hope this gives you a little more insight on the Para Expert Carry. Great firearm. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Naked Alien. Have a great day.